And we are now on to PSA returns number 2, and this return is going to be actually all Pokemon cards, and it's going to be 54 Pokemon cards, I believe. It's got a mixture of a bunch of different stuff, a lot of Legendary Collection reverse holo foil, some first edition Team Rocket and Gym Heroes Gym Challenge cards, and then also some Japanese as well mixed in there. And so for this returns, I'm actually just going to not hide the grades at all, just turn them and burn them and go through these a lot quicker because there are 54 of them. And they're not quite as high value of cards as my first returns that I did. And so for number 1, we have the movie promo from 2000. It got a Gem Mint 10. This isn't so much a valuable card, although graded as a Gem Mint 10, I've seen this card go for 30 to 40 bucks, which isn't anything to scoff at. But this is just a really good display card because it's got that full double holo foil on the surface of the card, and it's just kind of iconic because it is a Mew, and then it's also a card that was shown in the movie itself and was the first Pokemon movie. Was it the first? I think that was the first Pokemon movie, the 2000. So yeah, this is just a really cool card, and it's just an amazing display card because of the gloss and the color on it, and how well it just displays within the PSA casing. And then second one here, this is a really nice card. First edition Dragonite, Light Dragonite from Neo Destiny. This card had actually like a little spot on this wing here where the holofoil was showing, and I didn't know if that was going to affect the grade at all. But yeah, getting a Gem Mint on this card is just really amazing. Dragonite is a hugely popular Pokemon, and then these Neo Destiny cards are really quite valuable, especially when you get the Gem Mint 10 grades. So I'm super surprised and really happy about this grade. And a lot of times with these Neo Destiny cards, you can get a lot of silvering on the edges of the card that will drop the grades down, and it's very difficult to get the Gem Mint 10 grades on those cards. So that's really awesome, getting that in the Gem Mint 10. And then we have a Dark Houndoom that got a Mint 9. Say another Neo Destiny card that, like I said, can have the silvering and stuff. I think this might have had a scratch or two on the holo foil. I'm not sure. That probably was the big indicator of why it dropped down to a 9. But even as a 9, this card is quite valuable, and it's got an amazing looking artwork too. And then the first edition Jungle Jolteon. Jungle as a set is just incredibly hard to grade. It always has been, getting those Gem Mint 10 grades on the cards. And then Jolteon here has got one of the most preferred cards out of the Jungle set. Jungle has the 3 evolutions. For original evolutions, the Jolteon, Vaporeon, and Flareon, and those are typically the most valuable cards out of the Jungle set. But yeah, Jungle can be incredibly difficult to grade, so getting a 9 on a first edition Jungle card isn't too surprising. And then we have a Charizard base set unlimited. I was actually kind of expecting to get a 10 on this. I could see it getting a 9 as well. It was a pretty clean card. But yeah, anytime you get a Charizard as a Mint 9, that's always great. Especially from the vintage Wizards of the Coast era. Even if it is unlimited, this card goes for quite a bit. And I actually don't have a first edition Charizard for my own collection, so I'll probably just hang on to this for a while until I do end up finally getting a first edition Zard. And then we have Gym Challenge here, the first, and this is a trainer card, trainer of one of the gym leaders, I should say, Giovanni yeah, these gym trainers are the gym trainers and gym leaders. These cards are really quite sought after. They're pretty cool. You get the image of the trainer himself and then the badge in the background, and usually like a color scheme to go with them. So like for Lieutenant Surge, the color, this green would be yellow to match his electric theme. So these are really cool cards. Ooh, and then here we go. We got Rocket Zapdos, first edition from Gym Challenge as a Gem Mint 10. This is really awesome. I love the artwork on this card. Just that stormy background And then the electric Thunderbolts that are coming from the Zapdos are really cool. So yeah, this is one of my favorite Zapdos cards, just because of the whole artwork for this card is just really awesome looking. I always thought, and so getting this as a gem at 10 is really awesome. And then a first edition Moltres from Fossil, sorry, rated as a PSA 8. Funny enough, I'm not actually that disappointed about this getting an 8 because I needed an 8 for my own collection. I'm pretty sure the centering is part of the reason why this got such a low grade, and I think this card has some scratches on the hollow foil. I can't remember for sure. It's been a while since I sent these in. But yeah, getting this as an 8, that's fine with me because I'll just keep it. And I actually needed this card for my fossil collection, and it was like one of the last cards that I needed. So it saves me from having to buy one. Then another fossil card, we got the Raichu as a mint 9. Fossil is just the same way as Jungle. It's hard to grade. Probably not as hard as Jungle is, but it's still difficult to get those gem mint 10 grades. And then a Neogenesis Ampharos. Yeah, this one I'm surprised it didn't get a 10. I really thought it probably should have. If I'd known that it wasn't going to get a 10, I wouldn't have sent it in because this card as a 9 just isn't that valuable. As a 10, it still isn't even that incredibly valuable, but I thought for sure that one was going to get a 10. And ooh, here we go. A Dark Dragonite, first edition, Gem Mint 10 grade. Anytime you get Dragonite in a Gem Mint 10, it's always great. And this one's really cool because it also has this nice little spiral here. You can get that sometimes in the Wizards of the Coast holo foils. And I always just like the cards that have that little spiral in it. I don't know why, but it just makes the cards look quite a bit unique and really interesting, as I've always thought. The Rocket sets, however, they're probably, as far as the Wizards of the Coast era goes, they're probably the least valuable set. It's interesting that Nintendo decided to produce cards that were basically like the bad guys Pokemon. You know, I remember being a child that I wasn't that big of a Pokemon card collector or a Pokemon TCG player, but I did have some of these Rocket cards, and I remember that these were like my least favorite cards because I always thought of them as the bad guys Pokemon, and I didn't want the bad guys Pokemon, you know, I wanted the not bad guys. And another one, a Rockets Moltres first edition Gem Mint 10. So yeah, same thing. The Rockets cards, they're not too bad as far as grading. Oh no, this isn't Rockets. This is from Gym Heroes. My bad. It is got Rockets Moltres, but not the dark Dragonite. But yeah, anytime like it's again a Moltres, and then that's cool because it also goes with our Zapdos that we just got here. So there's no Articuno, strangely enough, no Rocket Articuno. And then a Dark Charizard. Ooh, man, I thought for sure this was going to get a Gem Mint 10. I bought a lot of these Rocket cards quite a while ago, but I bought them all from like the same person, and all those cards just looked clean, just really clean. And so yeah, I'm really disappointed that this card didn't get a Gem Mint 10 grade, because you look at the back here, and there's nothing on the back. Like, there's no nicks or anything. Maybe just this one little white spot down here, and it's very small. And then there's like no nicks on the corners here at all. And I know for sure that there weren't any scratches on the hollow foil. There's no like print lines or anything, and not even the centering's are really off, I would say. So I'm really surprised that this didn't get like a Gem Mint 10 grade. And then the Dark Slowbo from Rocket Set, and I got a 9. Misty's Tentacruel, that's also got a 9. That's from Gym Heroes. And so this is kind of what you expect from Pokemon. From what I've seen from other big Pokemon card graders, is that it's just really hard to get those Gem Mint 10 grades, because the quality of Wizards of the Coast printing, it just wasn't that great for these Pokemon cards. But this is a really good one to get a Gem Mint 10 in, and it's for Lieutenant Surge's Raichu. Part of the Pikachu line, and anything that's part of, related to Pikachu is going to be highly collectible. And then a Gem Mint 10 Dark Weezing. Like I said, these Rocket cards that I got, I bought probably 10-ish, I can't remember the exact number or so, and they just all looked really clean. And here's another Rocket card from Team Rocket. The Here Comes Team Rocket Trainer card. It's got Jesse, Meowth, and Kevin or James, sorry, in the picture. So it's kind of cool because it's related to the anime. And then here's the Legendary Collection stuff, and this got a 7. Wow. So yeah, these Legendary Collections I also bought from another seller, different from the guy that I got the Rocket stuff from, but all of his Legendary Collection Reverse Hollows just looked really clean. And so I'm really, oh, it's got a print line, that's right, I forgot about that. Yeah, this card has a print line going through it, if you can see. Right there, you can see it on the edges, kind of. It's harder to see in the picture, but I'm so really surprised still that this got a 7. So that's really unfortunate because these Legendary Reverse Hollows are incredibly hard to grade, but they just look so amazing, like that sparkle on them. And I really love Reverse Hollows. They're probably like my favorite type of holographic cards. And unfortunately, Yu-Gi-Oh! Just doesn't have any Reverse Hollows at all. So, and then here's some Japanese. Yeah, another Reverse Hollow, and this is the Japanese Charizard promo for Neo 2. I really like this card. This is one of my favorite Charizard cards and artwork, and not only because of the artwork, I should say, but because of the Reverse Hollow. I still like the Gold Star better, but this is a really cool card. And then another Japanese. Ooh, it's got an 8. Might be because of the centering that hurt it, but I'm really surprised. Usually the Japanese cards grade really well, but yeah, I graded this card because this is actually a censored card from the North American English version printed by Wizards of the Coast. The English version of the card, you can kind of see in the artwork here that there's tombstones that are visible behind the Gengar, and in the American version, or the North American version I should say, English print, those tombstones were taken out. So it's a very small censorship, but still one that I wanted to kind of collect, because I love collecting these censored cards between the Japanese and North American English prints, just because of the huge cultural differences and whatnot. And so I just find those really interesting and always loved collecting these censored cards. Alright, and now we're on to the next box here. There's a good one to get. A Legendary Collection Reverse Hollow Gem Mint 10 War Turtle, Dark War Turtle. Yeah, that's really great to get. Anytime you get a Legendary Collection Reverse Hollow as a Gem Mint 10, that's just fire. You know, that you just found gold right there pretty much, because you know, these cards with how much of the surface is hollow foil, it's just so hard to grade. And then Legendary Collection just has huge issues with getting Gem Mint 10 grades. And then here's another one. Even though it's a 9, still pretty good. It's got the same artwork as the first printing of Moltres, the fossil version. And, you know, even though it did get the 9 grade, it's still quite a good card to have. And then Dark Dragonite. So we got this card as a Gem Mint 10 in the Rocket form. The Legendary Collection Reverse Hollow, unfortunately, didn't get that 10 grade, but that's alright. And then the Zapdos. This is the base set artwork, but I got the Mint 9 as well. And like I said, like all these Legendary Collection Reverse Hollows, I got them from the same person, and then they just looked really clean. So I was actually thinking I was going to get a lot of 10s, or had a chance for a lot of 10s, and so far only one 10. And then a Gym Challenge Misty's Gyarados, PSA 9, first edition. And a Legendary Collection Reverse Hollow Graveler that got an 8. That's unfortunate, but oh well. I have another one that I sent to that Graveler too, so we'll see what the other one gets. And the other one got a 9. And the Pidgeot Legendary Collection Reverse Hollow got a 9. So yeah, a lot of 9s on these Legendary Collection Reverse Hollows. I was hoping for more 10s, but whenever you're grading the Legendary Collection Reverse Hollows, it's just super hard to get those Gem Mint 10 grades. So You got another 9 here with the Machop or Machoke. And ooh, this must have had something wrong with it to get a 6. Huh. Yeah, so this is the jungle artwork for Flareon, and as you can see, like, this is holographic, just looks amazing with the kind of like a rainbow color effect that it has in the background. It's probably one of my favorite cards, if not my favorite from the jungle set. But I'm really surprised that this got a 6. There must either the grader saw something wrong, or there's maybe like a bent corner or something. I'll have to look at it later, but yeah, there's something I missed when I sent this card off to get graded. And something I missed on this one too. So this is actually a gray stamp Kadabra. You can see that the first edition stamp on this is quite light. It's not as light as I've ever seen them. Like I've seen them printed lighter than this, but it is what I would consider a gray stamp. But this got a 5 as well, so I'm wondering if there's some kind of indentation or something wrong with this card. I looked this card over quite a bit because I thought it would probably get a 9, and I'm not sure exactly why it got the 5. And here's a really good card, the Shining Noctowl. Any of the Shining cards that are first edition are really quite valuable. So yeah, Shining Noctowl first edition from Neo Destiny, super valuable and super rare. You get these as Gem Mint 10 cards, and you hit money. And ooh, there we go, the Alakazam Gold Star Gem Mint 10. I did not expect this card to get a Gem Mint 10. I'm actually quite surprised. I thought this was just, maybe a 9, probably an 8. So yeah, some of these Pokemon grades for these Pokemon cards are quite interesting. Like, I was expecting some of these cards to get higher grades than what they did, and then like a card like this, I was expecting to get a lower grade. So yeah, I'm not quite as versed on the Pokemon grading as I am with the Yu-Gi-Oh, it seems like. And ooh, cool. So this actually did get the OC. I'm really happy about that. So PSA has been extremely stingy on giving cards OC and miscut grades, but this card is incredibly miscut. If you can see here, the top border here is almost like half an inch long, and then the bottom border here is maybe like a centimeter or so. And so you can really tell that this card is in a miscut, or an OC I should say. And then it's also a first edition, which is really great for adding to the value of the card. And Electrode's my favorite Pokemon. Don't ask me why. I just always liked it. So getting a Voltorb with this 9 OC that I love collecting the OC grades so much is really cool. And here we have a Gold Star Celebi that got a Mint 9. I was expecting this kind of to get an 8, but I'll take a Mint 9 for sure. And a EX Ruby and Sapphire Mint 9 Lapras. I really like these EX cards because of these holographic borders on these. They're starting to really pick up steam as far as with collectors collecting them. But then also you look at this holo foil with all this bubbles and stuff, and then the shine that they've got within the holo foil on these, it just looks really amazing with this card. So they have really cool artwork for Lapras. And ooh, a promo, Venusaur Holo promo Game Boy. This got a Mint 9, unfortunately. It looks like it, yeah, this does have like a print line through it, if you can see right here. I can get the light on it quite right. But right here next to like the flower, right between the blue and the sky, there's a small print line. It doesn't go all the way through the card, but it is there, so that's probably what docked it down to a 9, which is unfortunate, because anytime you grade Japanese cards, you're usually expecting to get 10s, or that's what you want to get. And then here's another one. Again, I guess I'm off with the Japanese cards. I'm really expecting to get a 10 on this one as well, and it got the Mint 9, so that's unfortunate. This card's interesting because in the North American English, this was printed as a secret rare within the Rocket set, and this is the Dark Raichu in the Rocket set. But for Japanese, it was released within the Neo 2, which would be Neo Discovery, I believe, or Neo Destiny. I can't remember which one for the North American English. So yeah, for the Japanese print, I should say. So the North American English decided, or Wizards of the Coast decided to print this earlier than what Japanese did, and print it as a secret rare within the Rocket set. So that's kind of why I wanted to collect it as a Gem Mint 10, just because of that Gem Mint 10 in the Japanese, just because of that different printing of the sets. Here's a really cool card, though. This is the Trainer Magazine Steelix, and if you can see right there, it's got that swirl that I was talking about before, right in the middle between the Steelix's like mouth and his body. So that's just really cool. I always thought looking at that. But this is probably one of my favorite Steelix artworks. It just really kind of captures it, the Pokemon well, I believe, and then it's got that kind of CGI look, but doesn't look kind of tacky or cheap. And really cool card, I think, anyway. And this is a card that's only available in the Japanese print. As far as I know, the Wizards of the Coast and North American English never printed this card. And then the Celebi Neo 3 promo. So this card is holographic in the Japanese print as a promo card. It was printed in the North American English, but was put within the Neo Revelation set, and instead of it being a holographic, this was actually the printing of Celebi that was the non-holo for that set. Neo Revelation, they had differences in some of the printings for the legendary Pokemon. So the holographic printing for like the 3 legendary dogs was different than the non-holographic printing for the legendary dogs in that set. So it's kind of unique, and this is the only holo foil printing you're going to get of this card is within the Japanese. And I really like Celebi. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. Not enough to take over Electrode, but pretty cool Pokemon. I always liked it a lot, and liked it in the movie. And the artwork's really cool. I think it matches the Pokemon theme really well, as being like this grassed, foresty Pokemon. And then a Japanese Charizard CD promo, Mint 9. Again, that's unfortunate. Probably the centering might have got me on this one a little bit. I can't think of anything else. Pretty sure, yeah, the back's clean. If anything, it's just the centering that dropped this down to a 9, which is unfortunate, but... And then we are on to our last box, which isn't a full box. It's probably more like 10-ish or so cards. And we have the CD promo Holo Venusaur. And I got the Gem Mint 10. And I actually bought these cards, these CD promo cards. I bought the sealed CD promo package, I guess, which was basically, it had, I can't remember, like 10 or so cards. About half of them were holo foil, and then you would get the Japanese CD with them. And so I bought that sealed quite a while ago, like probably at least 2 years ago, for 70-ish bucks or so, and pulled these out myself. So I'm really quite surprised that this Charizard got the 9 instead of the 10, because these Japanese cards, they just tend to usually get really good grades because the printing quality was much better done than what Wizards of the Coast did. And then I've got a Blastoise here that got the 10. And then also with these, I'm going to go over them again real quick. I like these cards a lot, these the 3 starters for the CD promo, because these are the artworks that you see on the base set box and these base set booster packs, but not on the base set cards. So yeah, these artworks are just really incredibly done, I think. I like them all better than the actual base set artworks. The Blastoise just looks like a much more aggressive stance, and a lot of these have like a lot more character to the artwork of the card than the base set cards, which are just kind of, except maybe for the base set Charizard, I would say. I would definitely I definitely prefer these artworks over the base set artworks. And then, oh, I had another. Yeah, I remember I had a spare one of these and sent it in. And so this got a 7, unfortunately. I knew it probably wasn't going to get a 10, but I thought it would get a 9. And then the CD promo Porygon, part of that CD promo set. And the CD promo Snorlax, which got a 9, unfortunately. And this is that kind of fan art work where Japan did a lot of competitions, I guess you could say, where children would draw their Pokemon that they like and submit their drawings, and Nintendo would pick out certain winners and have their drawings printed as the artworks for the cards. And then the glossy non-holofoil Mewtwo. I got a gem at 10. And the glossy non-holo Mew that just got a 9, which is unfortunate. And here is the Butterfree from Neo 2. Again, this is a card that you can only get in holographic form within the Japanese set. The Neo 2 or Neo Discovery, I think it's Discovery, I can't remember right off the top of my head. That was actually the biggest, well, when it was printed, it was the largest set of holofoils, and so Wizards of the Coast ended up taking 4 or 5 of those holofoils and making them non-holos. And so to get this as a holofoil card, this Butterfree card, the only way to get it is through the Japanese set. And then Beedrill from the same set. And same thing with the Beedrill. You can only get it as a holofoil in the Japanese card. And the Kingdra, which has just an amazing shine to it with the water going around it. Same thing, can only get it as a holofoil within the Japanese cards. The Starmie, again same thing, holofoil only in Japan. Within the North American English, it was printed as a non-holo. Really cool artwork on the Starmie too. And then last, but definitely not least, is the Aerodactyl that has a really awesome artwork to it with the aggressive about to go kill you stance on him. And again, only a holofoil in the Japanese. So yeah, I'm glad I got all those as Gem Mint 10s. And so that will conclude the submission. Had quite a few 10s and had quite a few 9s, and then some of these misses, unfortunately. We got 3 8s, 2 7s, and 1 6 and a 5. So I'm not exactly sure about these 6 and 5s. Usually a card will only get a 5 if it's got like a crease in it or something, and for sure, like, this card doesn't have edge wear or bent corners or anything like that. So unless it has a crease somewhere that I missed, which I actually just kind of see it now, is right there in this bottom right hand corner, which I don't remember this card having that issue when I sent it in. So I'm wondering if it got damaged while being graded or if I just completely missed it. I'm not entirely sure, but that's unfortunate. So I'll probably just keep this card slabbed. It is still a gray stamp, even though it's got this crease in it. And Kadabra is kind of an interesting card because a person in Europe that was claiming to be a psychic who could bend spoons and whatnot actually went into a lawsuit with Nintendo about this Pokemon being basically, how would you say it, copied off of his persona. And so that Nintendo basically took his persona and used it to profit off of without his consent. And that lawsuit is still going on. And so while that lawsuit is going on, Nintendo wasn't able to print any Kadabra cards. And from what I've heard, I'm not a big TCG player for Pokemon. I actually haven't played it at all. But because Kadabra can't be printed as a card, what Nintendo has been doing is making ways for Abra to evolve into Alakazam without having to go through Kadabra. So basically skip the stage 2 part because this is a stage 2 Pokemon. And to get Alakazam, you have to be able to typically evolve from a stage 1 Abra. So yeah, Nintendo has just been making ways of, I'm not sure exactly how, but of skipping the stage 2 Kadabra because they can't print this card. And then again with the Flareon, there must be something wrong with it that I missed, because there's not like a bunch of whitening on the edges or whatnot, so I'll have to look this over. But that will conclude this PSA returns, a really great returns. And also I'm going to be updating my store pretty soon here. I know I've been pretty slacking on updating new cards to be sold on my store, but that's going to change. So if you saw something here that you liked, just keep an eye out on my store because it may be for sale. And as always, thank you for watching.